Jobs are plentiful because this frontier city has attracted the attention of the largest corporations in the first world economies over the last 30 years, companies in need of cheap wages for assembly line jobs. These plants are known as maquilas or maquiladoras because in re-exporting the assembled product, the company is only taxed for the value added or the labor. The term comes from an old word for the miller's fee for grinding grain.
But just because the jobs are plentiful here doesn't mean that it's right, because what they pay them, it's terrible, terrible. You're talking about $5 a day maybe. That's a day.
Es donde que si le agarra para prender el carro me mete la llave. Eso es. Y en otra ensamblo otra cosa que le llaman plato de seguridad en el mismo encendido.
Raúl Herrera performs 2 operations on an automobile ignition assembly for 8 hours a day.
8 horas trabajando allí por día. Yo, por ejemplo, son 350 pesos.
He receives 9.5 pesos or $1 an hour, and from his paycheck of 350 through 385 pesos a week, he gives 200 to his wife for household expenses.
Entre semana yo tengo que darle más porque no ajusta.
That is never enough.
Está dura la situación. Estos bonos de estas maquilas.
Like other maquilas, the one where Raúl works gives a 50 peso or $5 bonus per week if he's on time every day. If he misses a day though, he loses 180 pesos or $20.
No, pues si tuviéramos pagando rentas ahí donde estuviéramos ya, tuviera 2 trabajos más en la maquila porque hay personas que trabajan doble turnos. Sí. Y él no, porque
the Herreras found that life was impossible when they were paying rent, so they bought a claim to a piece of land that had recently been the city dump.
Raúl built their house, even making the cement blocks.
The only public service they have is electricity. Water is trucked in once a week and they buy it.
Raúl and Aurelia came to Ciudad Juarez almost 10 years ago from Zacatecas, where there were no jobs. While life is hard in Ciudad Juarez, it was worse where they came from in Central Mexico.
Aurelia has become involved in a women's cooperative based in the Barrio Church. They do embroidery for sale to the North American market, and she is able to bring home a little cash.
Este es el que se hace. The cooperative Las Mujeres de Esperanza y Fe, the Women of Faith and Hope, has as its central mission the fostering of independence and self-esteem among the women in the Pánfilo Nájera barrio. Most of these women have come to Ciudad Juarez from the south, from central Mexico, and they find themselves on the margins of the life that they had hoped for. It is not easy to provide any guidance for their children when they themselves feel lost. Las Mujeres was founded by 2 nuns, Sister Donna and Sister Eleanor. They have become deeply involved in the lives of the women who participate. The project has created a space for these women.
There used to be a community here, where I belong to a community from El Paso. And at the very beginning, back in '72, we'd come over here as a community. There wasn't anything around here, just garbage dump. No houses, no nothing.
Why'd you come here then?
Because these were the poorest people we could find, people that worked in the garbage dump. And every week, we'd...
Frank Alarcón is a retired postal worker from El Paso who founded his non-denominational mission, Frank's Place, purposefully in one of the poorest barrios. Pánfilo Nájera was then on the edges of the city dump. The people he served were mostly scavengers in the dump, and he tried to provide essential services such as this below wholesale grocery store, which accepts bonos, a daycare, an after-school program to help kids with their homework. He is helping provide survival strategies for the people of Pánfilo Nájera.
7.90.
Como hay mucha maquiladora, viene gente de otros estados y entonces viven en casas de cartón, en casas muy pobres, y la pobreza, al no tener suficiente...
For Abraham Gutierrez, the rapid growth that has accompanied the location of the maquila in Ciudad Juarez has been a mixed blessing. It is a new lifestyle for people from the South and one that has brought all values into question. Abraham is a salaried engineer at one of the maquilas, but he puts in an additional 20 hours a week of voluntary service to the church as a deacon.
And I think that the border is such a special place because so much is visible, it's available to all of our senses in a way that it's not available in other areas. We see, we hear, we touch, we feel the issues in the lives of the people, and it's right there.
It is difficult for someone living in the very different economic reality of the United States to imagine how much goes into bare subsistence.
And what are people saying to you? Saying is, well, I have a job, but, well, yes, I do have work, but, and what is it? I have work, it pays me subsistence, and it condemns me to a system where
Ruben Garcia has worked in El Paso since the late 70s, providing a point of reference and assistance for immigrants from the South in the form of shelters and legal aid services. In speaking to people from the northern side of the border, he is concerned that the evident poverty is not sentimentalized.
I went to Highland High School in Albuquerque.
How do you compare the two systems?
Well, they're different because of the, I guess it's because of the money.
Many of the members of the band PCB have experience of the education systems on both sides of the border. Their music has its roots in the international youth culture. They have never known a time when there has not been an economic crisis.